audible. We can hear
Yeah,
you.
good. Thank you, Neil, and thanks everybody. Of course, I'm not an alumni of JNU, but I have got many JNU alumni with me now in Bhubaneswar, in School of Biotech at KIT University. So on their behalf, I'm going to speak to you for next 10 to 15 minutes that what we have done as a scientist in Odisha now, and how TBI are being helpful to really look at the crisis of coronavirus. Now, most of you actually know, I will pick up the point from Dr. Ranganathan, who gave a very nice, talk about that we missed the bus. The scientists should open up their laboratories and build up something for solution building for corona crisis. Now, let me tell you, technology business incubators are special vehicles, special ecosystem, which is built in most of the institutions. I think also in JNU, I heard that JNU is building up an incubation center. Now, how these centers have been helpful, I think I'm going to give you one story from Bhubaneswar, which is going to be very, very inspiring for most of you, and scientists could build it up. Now, I come from Bhubaneswar, and always, Bhubaneswar is known for always the Amphan, the Phylline, the cyclone, always like this crisis. We're used to, face such kind of crisis. Now next is Corona. The TBIs, which KIT is hosting, has now, promoted more than 250 companies, Neil, not 150, 250 companies, and almost more than 100 biotech startup companies. And I'll tell you that the success has really gone up, because when we started as a scientist, incubation centers, people always doubt scientists that they cannot do business with science. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, for long, science cannot be a parasite. Science has to also create wealth. Of course, some of you are doing very great science, but then some of you have to think how science can build innovations platform, which can lead to new product development, new process development, and ultimately enterprise development. So today I'm going to speak to you how the scientists could build, the innovators could build a lot of products, a lot of processes, which are now helpful for Corona crisis. Now, KIT TBI has been playing a major role in east and northeast part of India. They're building an example that how in institutions like university, like KIIT, people can think of building an incubation center, which is promoting 250 plus companies. And scientists are playing a major role in it. So what Dr. Ranganathan said, how can we open up our laboratories, our infrastructure to really fight against Corona? Now, number one, so in late March, the government of Odisha realized that they need to ramp up the test of RT-PCR. And the kind of laboratories what we have in Odisha are not sufficient to really do more than 4,000 to 5,000 tests per day. So they realized, why not to involve our startup community, the innovator community, the scientific community. So they really approached us, and we've been a call from the state government. We went there with my scientific team. They were highly impressed that we have been doing this RT-PCR every day. Now, how can you build a laboratory which is BSL enabled or BSL 3 enabled, and how can we really help for more testing? Now, TBI is also a technology business incubator which has got facilities which can really be helpful for scientific community. Now, in 9 days of time in KIT TBI, we could build up the BSL facility. We had some, but of course, in that lockdown time, we could really bring a lot of infrastructure to build in 9 to 10 days. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, the scientists were on job. We could really build a nice team which could really bring real-time PCR to biosafety cabinet, infrastructure development, biosafety management, and finally, with the help of a startup company called Indian Life Sciences Private Limited, we could build up the NABL facility within the incubation center. And that center can now test 3,000 to 4,000 per day. This is not impossible. This is possible by the building the right kind of team with scientific community. Now, why I'm saying all these things, because when I'm also doing science, but then I realized science in isolation cannot help the community. You need to come out and build teams. And what we realized during this practice or during this exercise, during Corona, building team is very, very important. So I'll tell you a couple of examples. So how did you build here? So once the government of Odisha called us, and then we realized we need to build our capacity of testing 3,000 per day. It was really, they were saying, you have to do something like this. Now, what we did, we really called people from Delhi, from Hyderabad. I can tell you who are the guys, but some of the names I'll not take because of some reasons. But one of the company called Who Life Sciences, which is one of the company making RT-PCR kit indigenously in India, everything, including all enzymes. Now, this company I called, and he was my good friend, Sisir. So he came to Bhubaneswar with all his machines, with his kit in 24 hours of time. We called one more company in Noida, Redcliffe Life Sciences, Mr. Assis and his team. They also came here in 24 hours of time. Now, why I'm saying all these things, you need to build a plan, and scientists are also can do such kind of things. Then one of our company called Indian Life Sciences in Bhubaneswar, we requested him, because he's got an enable laboratory for molecular diagnostics, we requested him to build an enable laboratory for COVID testing. And in 9 days, 10 days of time, everything was in place. Now, this is very interesting because government was looking for how the scientists can come forward, the startups can come forward and help the PCR, RT-PCR testing for state of Odisha. Now, today, this is what a great pride I can tell you, the technology business incubator can really ramp up, not only testing, but creating a lot of infrastructure for COVID-19 crisis. Now, to start from here, let me tell you how the scientists play a major role. Now, I have got 5 scientists in my team. One is plant biotechnology, one is epigenetics, one is virologist, one is molecular biologist, and one guy, Sony Reddy, also alumni of JNU. I think he did PhD from JNU. I think it's ICGB probably. He joined us a couple of years back as a Ramaling DST inspired fellow. These 5 faculties could build a laboratory. They've been doing quite good science, but when the time came, they all came up, teamed up. Earlier, they were not teaming up. But this was the right time when scientists came forward with startup companies, with the government officials, we could build it up. Now, these things is very, very important because scientists like us have been doing quite good science, publishing papers, but we need to think beyond it. And today, I'm very happy that JNU Alumni Association bringing a platform in a webinar where we're talking about what can happen during this crisis and how scientists also can contribute. Now, number one, how this can happen. Now, all of us, when you write a project proposal, we always think about a 3 years plan to 5 years plan. But during COVID, you might have realized most of the funding agencies asking for 6 months plan, 12 months plan. Are we ready for it? Yes. So people like us now have to think differently. That this is not no more plan going to for 3 years, 5 years. We have to be very target oriented. These are corporate cultures. And scientific community, all of us, we need to build up this strength in our ambience, such kind of ambience in our culture. So what I'm trying to tell you now, how it can happen in our community like JNU also, in KIT also, like many places. Now, recently you might have heard the DST came up with a program called Kavach grant. Kavach was built only for scientists or the startups who could deploy the ready technology, which are the TRLs level of 7 or 8. It means technology readiness level. So these languages we need to learn. Now, many people, they applied for it, but they were ineligible because most of us, we think what we have done in laboratory might work in real sense in the marketing strategy. It's not going to happen. So can you build up that culture in our ecosystem? That's why I'm going to pitch in front of all of you. Technology business incubators are very, very important in most of the institutions. I think JNU is coming up with a big one. I wish all the best to them because these are the culture, the special purpose ecosystems are going to change the scientific perspective of each one of us. Now, today, when I talk to scientific community innovators, I talk in a different language because whatever the science we do, we look at the translation aspect of it, not by in paper publications, but can these lead to a product, to a process, and finally can enterprise can be built. I can give you a couple of examples where scientists doing science, but then also building the enterprises. So I was talking about one of the scientists, also one from JNU, from ICG became Asim Misra, and he and his wife would build up a company called Prante Solutions. You just Google Prante Solutions. They have been doing quite fantastic work, but during COVID, they have got funding from 3 sources. Imagine, because they're building very fast, sensitive detection technology for COVID-19, diagnostic technology for COVID-19. Now, how this has been happening? Because you need a different kind of ecosystem, which is, we call it a technology business incubator. So how we helped Prante Solutions? Because when Prante came to us, Dr. Sumana Karji Mishra, also I think alumni of JNU or ICGB, she came to us, we provided her a fellowship just to experiment whatever the idea you have, can you please work on it? Just like you have got GRF and postdoc fellowships. So these fellowships exist in the government system, like you have got DBT GRF, ICMI GRF, similarly they have got fellowship programs. So she was inducted as a social innovation fellow under a BIREC program called SPURS. And this SPURS scheme provides somebody who can induct it getting 50,000 rupees per month. Remember, it's not a little fellowship. 50,000 rupees per month with a prototypic grant of 5 lakhs rupees, which is very, very interesting. So scientists like you also can leverage these kind of facilities. Now, she was inducted for 18 months. The target was given to build a prototype of what she has proposed. And this was quite successful journey for her. Then she started getting other grants called BIG grant, called Biotechnology Ignition Grant, which most of you are familiar with. I know JNU also hosting a couple of BIG grantees. Then she got 50 lakhs rupees of money. So why I'm saying all these things, because money is never a problem in our country like India. It's all about the culture, the intention, the mindset of scientific community. Thousands of you cannot ask money from the same agencies for one kind of research like COVID-19. Only 10 of you will get it. So how do you build this plan, to really build enterprise, and enterprise is going to sustain. Now, Pranti Solutions could build building a new technology which is fast, efficient for COVID-19 detection. And finally, they got, I this already announced, announcement is already done by Millennium Alliance. They got money for COVID-19. Then they got now from Kavach, which is also a DST program, also big money they're getting. Now, why I'm saying this thing, most of us will complain about funding in India. But if scientists, they come up with a plan, a good intention, good strategy, timelines of 16 months, 18 months, 24 months, build a product, money is not a problem in Indian context. So this is how an innovator, a scientist can build his or her career. Now coming to COVID-19 crisis, all the agencies like DST, SCRB, TDB, DBT, BIOTech, everybody jump into this and saying, we will try to solve COVID-19. Now they are looking for innovative technologies. Now, are you ready for it? So as a part of a committee, I'll not name which committee, as a part of a committee, we reviewed almost more than 200 proposals. Let me tell you, the writing strategy needs to be changed. Because why I'm saying, because during this time, I think most of us need to change our strategy. Otherwise, long run, we are not going to be sustainable in our laboratory activities. So most of this scientific committee writing, again, classical writing, grants of understanding, bioinformatics, these are not going to help you now at the moment. Because we need to find out any solutions which can be deployed in India in in 6 months to 12 months, because afterwards, again, many of the things cannot be useful probably for the COVID-19 crisis. Now, as Neil also mentioned about that, what we have learned from this, the scientific community learned from this, that yes, we need to build our team. It's not about only one person, it's about a team. So teams should have a design guy, team should have a clinicians, team should have a business guy. We need to understand these kind of languages, which is at the moment missing in scientific communities, which I'll urge to all of you that please go through all these, the soft skills program, and look at the different funding agencies which are now targeting for 18 months project, and please be a part of it, of innovative projects. Now, what we learned during this Corona crisis, that how to build team quickly, how to deploy things quickly, and how to validate things quickly, in such kind of crisis, which is a learning lesson. And most of us, we have realized that how the PPE kit manufacturing capacity went up, the ventilators, the sanitizing things, scientific communities, CSR institutions, DBT, all went into it. They all scientists started manufacturing. So can we build a culture in most of the laboratory institutions, building a strategy or a culture of manufacturing? This is not a small thing. This is a big thing. That's why you need a special vehicles, just like technology business incubator. Now, let me tell you what KIT TBI is doing at the moment. Not only COVID-19 crisis, but yes, beyond that, what we are developing now. Now, in KIT, we have got now a COVID hospital, which is a 500-bed hospital established by KIT University. We have a technology business incubator now promoting more than 17 startups in COVID-19, and they're looking for COVID-19 solutions, deploying a couple of them, and some are under development stage. Now we have a COVID-19 diagnostic laboratory. Now what you're providing in ecosystem, a test bed for many of you. If you're really developing a couple of interesting technology, antivirals, molecules, devices, you can get access to, patient samples, can get access to, of course, you need a lot of clearance for that. But then one of the company we have, Purplus Technology by Abhishek, also a BIG grantee. He was developing an AI/ML platform, and he's looking for where I need to, I'll be doing the trial. So we introduced him to our hospital, got the clearance of ethical clearance. Now he's doing all the trial for his AI platform for the COVID-19 patients. Why I'm saying all these things? All done by scientists like you and me. Why not we team up together? Some people in JNU can team up with KIT, ICGB. You are sitting in a gold mine. Next to JNU, you have got NII, you have got NIPGR, ICGB, and I think AIMS, everything next to you. You really can. I know you are all doing it, but I want to see more enterprises coming out of your ecosystems. So I think what we have learned in this Corona crisis that we need to build our own strength, and we need to build the capacity of scientific community, the credentials of scientific community, the understand a problem statement, how quickly you team up, and how quickly you build products and deploy it also nicely. So innovation has to be promoted in all the ecosystems, not only science and publications. And I always love science, but then I also practice the development and the enterprise development. So entrepreneurial science is more and more important. Now, the local manufacturing is very important. So we have been talking to state government, building new plants. Scientists are also involved in this. I am very fortunate in Odisha. Government of Odisha has appointed me as a nodal officer for COVID-19 diagnostics. Very interesting. So government, the bureaucrats also realized science has to be promoted. The scientist has to be nurtured in these sectors. So people like you and us should come forward and see that in future, whenever the pandemic comes, it is going to come because things you cannot predict at the moment. But we are going to live with it, but we have to build our own strategies, own strength, own capacities. And I think TBIs are going to play a major role. All of you might have heard a lot of news that how startups are creating impact. Now, as I was telling about who are life sciences, now you know the cost of your RT-PCR detection kit is quite expensive in many cities. They're charging 4,500, 5,500. It can go up also. Now in Bhubaneswar, where we cannot afford so much of money, we have been doing so much of sample analysis in very affordable cost. And government is very, very happy because we involved a company like UL, which is into manufacturing, InDNA, which is NABL laboratory certification. We have got RedClip, a enabler, a company which can really also help us in testing. And our scientists building our capacities, like running those RT-PCR platforms. This is how you have to build it. So quick building, team building is very, very important in this Corona crisis. Odisha, I think we have got, yes, now many daily workers, they're coming from different kind of cities. Our number is going up and up. But if you look at our mortality rate, hardly we have at the moment only 9 people they have died because of corona things. Otherwise, things are more and more stable. Diagnostic, the RT-PCR test has gone up every day. Now we are doing 5,000 tests per day, and this is because most of the scientists from ILS, from AIMS, from Niger, ISER, they all came, RMRC, they all came forward and they really provided their laboratory to do more and more testing. So that's what I thought. I'll pick up from Dr. Ranganathan's point that we need to open up our laboratories. But believe me, but trust me, the biosafety was a major issue because that was questioned by NABL that are you tuned towards that? We had gone through training of biosafety for 7 days in many institutions in Bhubaneswar, and all of us now we became expert in that. So try to understand that it's not about the laboratory, it's about other regulatory approvals needed for that. So you understood that we didn't understand in last 10, 12 years that how to build such kind of laboratories, but in these 15 days of time, we could build it up. So please, all of you, look into the program like TDB program. The BIRAC is one of the most lucrative or the most one of the most primary agencies now funding biotech startups. Now they have gone out of the way. Every time they have got call for the COVID-19. So those who are building, they want to deploy solutions, please look for the BIRAC's websites. They've got a lot of grant openings at the moment for COVID-19. We have got the DST Kavach program, which is now closed, but also they have got 54 startup companies. They also buy scientists, buy students. They've got funded almost about 245 crores of rupees. And special call from FICCI was there. Also, they have selected, you'll be very happy, they have selected 23 of companies, 3 belongs to KIT TBI. We have Technology Development Board, also funding startups company for scaling it up. So all things happening in India. Who is driving? I think scientists can drive it much better because our good intention towards doing good science is very important, but then you need to translate your scientific innovations into product to your process. So with this thing, I'll not take much of time because it's already 8:20. I think this is what I can tell you. We need to build our local manufacturing. And all of you should come forward how scientists can build such kind of capacity of India, where we can also produce our own consumables, own chemicals, not to depend on the foreign countries. With this, I thank all of you. Thanks to the organizer for inviting me. I know it was very short. I didn't put any PPT because I know all of you are going to put PPT, just to tell you scientists can really drive a lot of things in the country. You need to build your capacities, soft skills, business skills, corporate skills, everything is important for you. So let's build a new culture and doing science in India. Thank you very much.